Hello, good morning YouTube. It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be discussing Dexter New Blood, the 7th episode. Oh my god, I kind of have a headache. I'm going to try to get through this video, but I woke up a little early this morning for some reason. I don't know, it was just a part of my sleep schedule. Nothing was planned here, but I decided I have my Madden video recorded because it took a while for me to get my pre-order stuff. We're going to be streaming that sometimes today, a couple times maybe. But we are here to talk about Dexter, and then I'm going to go watch my shows, and then I'm going to edit my Madden video, then I'll have the rest of the day to kind of do whatever I want. So, getting into the plot and the critical reception. So, in the cave, Angela tells Dexter to inspect Iris's corpse due to his knowledge as a forensic scientist in his previous life in Miami. So, at this point, Angela pretty knows exactly what Dexter is. Dexter deduces that Iris was shot in the back somewhere else, and then was buried alive, was taken here. Because, I mean, people will think to look there, but, like, you know what I mean. He removes one of Iris's teeth, finding that she bit her attacker. He finds skin, like, it's crazy. I mean, some of the things that Dexter comes up with. And it's kind of wild that he still has this knowledge. Maybe that's kind of a flaw with the episode, but yeah. He hands over the tooth to Angela in order to find a possible DNA match. Angela tells Dexter that she suspects Kurt because he wanted to stop the search for Matt to prevent the police finding Iris's body in the cave. So she has this whole conspiracy theory, and it sounds crazy to everyone in the department. But he did it, and we see through, like, flashbacks and stuff of what happened to her through his confession later on in the episode, that it was indeed him. So there's a bit of some dramatic irony. Obviously, like, Angela and Dexter pretty much now know that he can be capable of doing stuff like this. Now they need to investigate him, like possibly killing other people. So Dexter's relationship with Harrison continues deteriorating as Harrison is looking to be more involved with Kurt. Kurt is pretty much his second dad, and this creates like a lot of conflict because obviously Dexter's not a big fan of this Kurt guy. He seems like a really shady character. You kind of get that. So Deborah suggests that Dexter just kill Kurt, but Dexter intends to let Angela build a case against him so Harrison will finally see Kurt for who he is. He wants Harrison to kind of find out the hard way that this isn't really the guy to be messing with, this isn't really the guy to find refuge with right now. And yeah, Dexter's not really that good of a parent if you really look at things, but yeah. He decides to help Angela by informing her of his encounter with Kurt and Molly at the cabin, and they drive there to inspect, to look around, see if they can find any evidence that he's having people here, he's actually killing people here, because Dexter thinks there's something crazy going on, but we don't know for sure that something crazy is going on, so there you go. However, Kurt has already removed all of the room's furniture, although Angela still has faith she will catch up to it with him. So yeah, I mean, obviously he saw Dexter pretty much being aggressive and approach the cabins, so he had to shut that shit down. It was kind of Dexter's fault, really. But Dexter would have never figured out what was happening had he not encountered him. Nevertheless, Dexter considers that he will have to kill him if the police fails to find anything, which is exactly like the sentiment he would have in the regular Dexter show. Dexter visits Kurt's diner where he has a talk with him about their previous encounters, and it gets a little hostile. I mean, their relationship hasn't gone fully like rivalry level, but yeah. Suddenly, Angela and Logan arrive and arrest Kurt for Iris's murder, taking him to the station. And obviously, in this case, they have enough evidence to say that he killed Iris, and he possibly could have even killed more people. Angela questions him, showing that they inspected his phone records, and he never talked with Matt in the days after his reported disappearance. And then bringing up Matt, obviously, it goes off to the wrong foot, because it's like, that has nothing to do with it. You're taking, like, personal matters into your hands. And yeah. She also reveals they compared Iris's attacker's DNA with Kurt's, which proved to be a match. And so now Kurt pretty much comes up with an alibi. Meanwhile, Harrison helps one of Kurt's truckers with cargo. The trucker then gives Harrison a small envelope telling him to hand it to Dexter. What's going on, Chippy? So, always hear from them Dexter videos. Love it. So Harrison gets a small envelope. It's supposed to be for Dexter. He gives it to him, which contains a titanium screw. And this is kind of like a sick, fucked up, like villainous way to send a message to Dexter. You know, even though he's in jail, like he'll never break, I guess. Titanium never breaks, and that's like the whole metaphor, the whole message. So that night, Dexter makes a distraction so that all officers leave the station and confronts Kurt to tell him to stay away from him and Harrison. He doesn't want him to continue building possibly a toxic relationship with his son, because we all know, that, like, if he keeps letting Harrison see Kurt, things are going to go really bad. Kurt's going to manipulate him into thinking things about his father, and yeah. Kurt teases Dexter by saying that it wasn't snowing when Dexter picked him up from the tavern. It was ashes, and tells him titanium doesn't melt, and that possibly, I don't know what that can really imply. That's kind of up in the air for interpretation. After leaving, Dexter remembers that Matt had a titanium screw in his leg, concluding that he knows he killed Matt, and the titanium doesn't melt, and he probably found the screw somewhere. That's kind of crazy. Like, how the hell would you be able to do that? I don't know. I mean, sometimes TV shows go in directions that are super inconsistent. The next day, Kurt decides to make a police statement, explaining that his abusive father used to brutally attack girls, and now he's going to say that his father did it, but we know Kurt did this. He states that his father picked up Iris, and that's the only thing he knows. Oh, like, say no more. Let me see my lawyer, Here, I don't know. But flashbacks reveal, again, like the dramatic irony in the show, that it was a young Kurt who picked her up in his truck, and that Iris was running away. He was a truck driver, pretty much. It's obviously how he got in, like, the business and everything. Kurt decided to not bring her to his father and tried to go back, but Iris resisted, biting his hand and exiting the truck. This prompted Kurt to shoot her in the back, killing her. And I'm not really sure why. Getting bit and someone running off, I don't know why that warrants you killing this person, but it is what it is. Maybe he didn't mean to. Maybe he acted out of a fit of rage. I'm not really sure how that makes sense, but I mean, I guess it shows now, like, the people are running out of the cabin, he, like, hunts them down. It's kind of like the imagery from that event, so I guess that's kind of like the origins behind that. Due to the testimony and only a 67% DNA match, the charges against Kurt are dropped and he is released, which, again, doesn't really make sense, because I'm pretty sure there should be more than just this little thing. Cases can unfold. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. Angela then talks with Molly at the bar, explaining that while she found closure with Iris, she doesn't feel better, because now Kurt, who most definitely is the murderer, is walking away free. Their conversation soon turns to Dexter, realizing that he couldn't have heard Molly's earlier meeting with Kurt and likely recorded it with his phone. And there's some fishy things going on. They might find the dark secret. There's only 3 episodes left in this spinoff, so there could possibly be some crazy things. Them finding out about him being the murderer, or him being a serial killer, not the murderer. I don't know what I'm talking about. After inspecting Kurt's office and overhearing a conversation confirming his release, Dexter concludes he must kill him. If they're not going to be able to lock him up, if they're not going to be able to make a case against him, he's going to have to go and kill him. He stops Harrison from hurting some high schoolers with a straight razor and has a talk with them. Yeah, Harrison's going on a dark path. He's using the same razor that the Trinity Killer used. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird that you would want to keep that memory in your life, but it is what it is. Harrison states that he had nightmares, but now realizes they were actually memories. He remembers the day Arthur Mitchell killed his mother. Like, he has this image in his head. He knows exactly what he said to him, all this stuff. He recalls Arthur, this Trinity Killer, played by the wonderful John Lithgow. If you watch the original series, he was great. That was the best season. I think like season 5 maybe it was. Comforting him after killing Rita, telling him Daddy will be home soon. So we didn't really see the aftermath of what Harrison saw, so now we do, and I think that's kind of cool. Thinking that Dexter left because he thought he would grow up with these tendencies, Harrison hitches a ride to an unknown destination. Dexter decides to follow, intending to tell him everything. However, he is suddenly attacked from behind by the trucker who gave Harrison the envelope. So yeah, this trucker's behind some shit too. And I think it was the same guy that was like in the lobby at the hotel. It kind of looked alike. They kind of looked alike. That's my prediction. I don't know. But getting into some reviews. Pretty good review. I mean, as a second seasonal act Dexter episode, Skin of Her Teeth was sort of par for the course. Not bad, but also not quite offering up anything satisfying. Dexter and Angela know Kurt's a killer, but that branch isn't bearing fruit just yet. Next episode could be killer, since this episode planted some decent seeds, but on the whole, Skin of Her Teeth was medium well set up. Yeah. I would say this is an A episode. It's good. I mean, between Angela and Molly's road trip to Manhattan and Dexter's foray into narcotics enforcement, New Blood's last 2 episodes were clearly designed to keep the show's gunpowder dry before a third act crescendo. But who could have predicted the next installment would be as explosive as Skin of Her Teeth? There's stuff that builds, but it's kind of slow, but like there's some pretty crazy things going on here. Even more than the strong H's for Hero, the 7th episode makes a strong case for New Blood's existence, and instills confidence that this season might provide the ending Dexter deserves. Maybe we can finally get the closure that we didn't get, because that show ended pretty terribly. If on average each episode of a TV show is only truly interesting for roughly 15 minutes out of the allotted 45, then what does that say about the show as a whole? In the case of New Blood, and definitely in the case of this most recent episode we watched here, it's starting to feel like we've spent a lot of the runtime waiting for something good to happen. And while it's undeniable at this point that the good stuff is few and far between, when it does roll around, the wow factor it makes the episode feel worth it. Skin of Her Teeth has that classic 2 steps forward, 1 step back Dexter feeling, but still manages to give great showcases to Alcott and Julia Jones, who is finally able to get closure about the Iris situation. It was also fun to see some new Trinity Killer footage, but I imagine John Lithgow signed on for more than just a quick topless scene. There are worse ways for this show to burn runtime, I guess. A grim and troubling turn of events led to a killer walking free. On Skin of Her Teeth, Kurt Caldwell slithered out of prison and began toying with Dexter. It was a tense hour of power shifts and crushing reveals. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I'm out. I know I'll talk about it a little more. A lot of things setting up. Crazy. Next 3 episodes are going to be absolute chaos. So, tune in, Noti Bell, all that stuff. I appreciate anyone